Hey guys, welcome back to DW's Chop Shop. Today what we're going to do, we're going to essentially change the oil or go over how to change the oil in 39mm fork tubes. But we're also going to change these tubes out to 4" over since this is going to go on our Sportster project. So what we're going to do is a combination, I have a tech manual. It is sitting over there under some stuff, but this TC Brothers 4" over kit also comes with instructions. So let's go through their instructions and we'll see how that works out. Let's see, this is your triple tree. You should know this. This, where your forks go. The way you get your forks out is you loosen these two clamps right here and they pull out the bottom. All right. Now a lot of this stuff you can do with your triple tree in place on the bike, but given the condition of what we're working with, everything had to come off of the frame so we could make magic happen. Okay, so let's see what these instructions say. Kit contents, 2 fork legs, check. Spacers, check. And seals, rod seals, seals, and seals. Checkity, check, 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 check. Okay. Step 1, use an extended 6mm hex bit to loosen the damper bolts. If the damper bolts just rotate, use an impact tool. Okay, so those bolts that they're talking about are right there. And that's a 6mm. And I don't think I have an extended one. I have a 1/4" one. Let me get an extension. Let's see if this will fit. Yeah, it fit right in there. All right. And it said an impact will usually loosen them up. So, impact. Yep, that loosened right up. Does it say remove or loosen? Loosen. Okay. So those are loosened. Don't disturb the drain screws. All right, so this is kind of common. These little tiny screws on the side are your drain screws if you were going to do a fork fluid change in place, right? So when we pull the damper screw out, we're going to be able to flush the fluid out. Also, have a pan ready for that. But if these don't leak, just leave them alone. They're hell to get in, get out, and have stop leaking. Let's see. They do include new drain seals if yours are leaking. Let's see, loosen the fork caps. All right, 35mm socket to loosen the fork caps. Let me get these set up. So here we go. That's your fork cap. That tool I need to grab. All right, so this is a 35mm. So the easiest way to do it is 35mm socket. Also, your fork is extended down, right? So you can lean over this, put some pressure on it. It doesn't pop with a lot of force. This is not like a like your car's coilover system, right? So sometimes I need to use my big wrench on this, see if this goes. Yeah, that's working. Okay, now I like to get on a little step stool just so I can lean over this, and I'm leaking. So throw a pan down here. So this is actually way easier to do in the triple tree. But like I said, there's not, it's not gonna blow my arm off. It's gonna be a bonk, and then the cap's probably gonna fall. So that's it. There we go. See, that's all. putting them back in sucks. Oh, that is what it is. Yeah, there's where leaking a little bit. All right. So we'll let that one drain and we'll get lined up to do the next one. Okay, now we got our caps off. So where are we at here? Remove. All right, so loosen fork tubes, caps. I guess we took them all the way off. Whoopsies. Raise a motorcycle, pull your fork tubes out of the triple tree, take your brakes, all that crap off. You gotta have just forks. And then, and it tells you how to pull your pinch bolts. Okay. Remove your fork caps completely and pull the springs out. Tip: the fork springs may be under compression, even with the suspension unloaded. Use gloves and eye protection during fork cap removal. Exert downward pressure as you unscrew the fork caps to prevent damage or injury. This will also prevent damage to the threads. You've seen what I did. I stood on a little step stool so I could put pressure on these while they were in the vise. If you were on your bike and you were popping these off, right, you would have them loosened to where they're hand tight in the triple tree. You wouldn't need to stand on a step stool to do it in the vise. Okay, so it wants us to remove the springs. Let me clear this box out so I can stick crap in there. Okay. There's a spring. Ooh, this one's oily. Let's drain that. This one didn't drain like the other one did. All right. And the other spring. And I'm going to take my jacket off, and it looks like this job's going to require some rags. Remove fork caps, drain the fork tubes, moving the tubes through their strokes several times. Use a small flathead screwdriver, carefully pry up the dust boots. Okay, so let's keep trying to drain these, I suppose. There we go. Oh, that damper rod must be a little looser than we thought. Okay. We'll slide that in there and just keep it there until this calls to take it out. Next thing they want us to do, drain the fork tubes and then use a small screwdriver to pop our dust covers off. Easy enough. Oh, if you look, there's a little slot that you can stick a screwdriver in. And they should just pop. Of course, these ones aren't. Lucky for me, I have a hammer. This is being a bitch. Right. Yeah, there we go. That's why it's being a bitch. She's rusty. Okay. So that dust cap is off. Let me get the other one up here. Yeah, normally these aren't that hard to get off, but when your seals do that and peel, poses a slight problem. All right, drain fork tubes, did that. Pop the cover off, okay. Free the seal retaining rings from their grooves in the lower leg. And remove the damper rods and rebound springs, remove the fork seals, separate the inner and outer tube. Okay, there's this damper spring. There's this damper spring. Get that screwed out. Okay. Okay, there's our cover piece. I don't think I'll save that. I think that'll go right in the trash. And then if we look in here, you can see a retaining ring. Actually, let me show you what it looks like in the new one. There's a retaining ring like this clipped inside here, right? So we just need to pop it out. And we'll use a screwdriver for that, pry up on one side, pliers, whatever we got to do to get that out. And then everything should separate. Should. Okay, so the way that you kind of pull these out is you essentially use your upper rod tube as like a beating device and just wham, 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 wham a couple of times. Mine seals are shit, so I'm gonna lube them up, and while that one's soaking, I'm gonna try to pop the other dust cover off of this one, and then we'll get it soaking too. Oh, this one's going. All right. There we go. Let me try that with this other one. There she goes. Perfect. Okay, what is next? Make sure to account for both damper rod bases. Make sure they're not still in there. Ah, they are. Well, at least this one is. One damper rod base. Two damper rod bases. There we go. Okay. Remove the fork damper rod seals from the damper rods. Clean and dry the insides of the lower fork legs and springs, damper rods, rebound springs, damper rod bases, and after cleaning and inspect them for reuse wear or for whatever. Okay. So we'll take a look at the damper rods. Okay, so these are your dampers, right? They have kind of like your rebound springs in here. Your rod seals are these plastic chunks, so we can set that spring off to the side. These plastic chunks pull out pretty easy, and then they put in the same way. Easy stuff. And, you know, I like to offset your ring gaps there. So that one's done. Set this spring off to the side. And 180 outer seal. Okay. Okay. Tip: if you're shaving your fork legs, now is the time to do it. I'll be back in a minute. All right, so this is real quick after I've shaved these fingerprints, but I ran them on the polisher. My hands are greasy as hell. But I ran them on the polisher and everything's coming out all right. They're pretty smooth. So I just wanted to show you guys it is possible to do this without a lathe. Just go slow, take your time. Fingerprints again. Go slow, take your time, and they'll come out all right. So once I have nice clean hands, I will hit these on the polishing wheel once they're all back together. And things are gonna look pretty good, so yeah. It took me 2 hours probably to get those that way. So anyways, let me clean all this shit up and we'll get back to assembling the forks and putting the longer tubes in. All right, and we are back. I got workbench cleaned up a little bit and let's keep on moving. See, if you're shaving your fork legs, now is the time to do it. Be sure to clean everything again after machining is complete. Ta-da! Got the fork legs done, and I did it by hand. They do need polished a little more, but we can put the forks together. I can polish them up. That's no big deal. All right. So, fork assembly. Transfer tube fork bushings, the lower bushing on the fork when it's upright, is these two pieces right here, to the new fork tubes. Replace them if they're worn. Use a small screwdriver to gently pry the bushings and the ends apart, enough to free them from the retaining groove, and then we'll stick them on the new ones. So, let's get our new forks. And all we're gonna take off is this metal stuff here. Right, so we need a little screwdriver, rags. And the reason I want some rags is trying to keep everything clean. And this workbench is very dirty. Okay, so I'm going to set that piece on a rag, and then this one slides off, and this slides off. Okay, so we slide that on, and we slide that on. Then we slide that on. And then we do it again. Okay, so install the slider bushing, the upper bushing when the fork is upright, and back rings onto the fork tubes. Okay, install the new seals onto the fork tubes. Orient the seals with the correct side facing upwards, shown in the image. Prior to installing the seals, apply grease to the lips. Use care to prevent compromising fork seal integrity. Okay. Let me grab grease. All right. So, it didn't really tell me what grease to use, so I just got some red grease. Kind of general purpose roller bearing grease. And I'm not going to go ham with it, but okay. Set that off to the side, and we'll do the other one. Set that off to the side. Okay, so there we are greased. Our bushings are on. All right, so what's next? Install new seals on the damper rods. We did that. There's our damper rods. And there's the bottom pieces. And here's the screws. Okay, now what? Install the rebound spring into the damper assembly into the fork tubes. Return the damper rod bases to the lower legs. Okay, so it seems like these lower legs are just going to drop into our fork tubes. All right, and these damper rods are going to get their springs put on them, like so. And they're going to get sent home through the tube. Okay. You stay. Okay. Slide each tube into its corresponding lower. Install the new damper rod bolts. Oh, shit, we're putting these back together. Ugh. Okay, so we're going to take a lower. We're going to drop this in, and it doesn't have much of a choice but to line up. Yeah, there's kind of like a little groove in here if you look, and it falls right into that groove. And then we knock everything over. Gonna look through here, looks like it's sealed up pretty good. And shoot, this came with new bolts and crush rings, so we're gonna use the new ones. Okay, not throwing that in super tight just yet. Put the crush ring on this one. Send this thing home. Yep. All right. Next, we're going to wipe the dust off of these seals. Give me just a second. Okay, so I had to clean the seals up. When something rolled over here, they fell. And they fell right into grinding dust. So that sucks. Okay. Install the new fork seals. Orient the seals with the correct side facing upward, which is this way. Don't hurt your seals. Let's see, install the new seal rings onto the damper rods. Oh well. Okay, at least these go in kind of easy. So now we need to do something to get those forks down enough that I can get that retaining ring in. If you have a piece of pipe, like a inch and some change that just sort of fits around this and slides down on those, perfect, use that. Fork seal beaten thing that I got off of the internet 100 years ago. It works. All right, you sort of see what we're doing here. We need to get this ring down, right? So I take this piece, slides over the top, and then I take this hammer piece, slides over the top, and I beat that down. You go until you can see where your retaining ring fits in. Okay. Let me see. You guys see in there? You can kind of see right there where our retaining ring's gonna set. Okay. So then we take our retaining ring, clean all the damn dust off of it from shaving these legs. You really want to keep this stuff clean. All right. And then we stick one corner in and then just kind of push. Oops. Oops. There we go. And it clips in, and that's our retaining ring. Now we will get our dust cover out, wipe it off. And we will slide it over, and this just presses into place. Now is the time where we would also put our caps back on here. if I was going that route, but if you see this, I'm going a different route. We're gonna do something else. Well, I'll probably just order new ones, but yeah. Okay. Now it says put the fork tubes in the triple trees. Yeah, I suppose I could do that. Give me a second. All right, so that's what that's gonna look like with the 4 over front forks on it. That's not too bad. There's no bearings in the neck right now, so it's just kind of grindy, but I'm feeling that. All right, what's next? Fluid? Springs? Install the fork tubes into the triple trees. Be sure it's pursued slightly above the tree, which they do. Measure the correct quantity of fluid and pour it in. And then they give us a chart right here. Also, these longer forks or whatever doesn't change your fluid type. It doesn't even change how much fluid you put in. Okay, so I have a 92 to 98. This is an XL883, whatever. So we're gonna put 12.1 ounces in. Okay, so I have this. We're going to run it to fluid ounces. I'm gonna grab one of my shop cups, put it on here. Zero it out. There we go, zeroed out. And we're gonna put 12 ounces of fork oil, just run-of-the-mill fork oil in that cup. And then we'll grab a funnel, pour it under the top. Six, 10, 11, 12.2. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's all right. Oh, also don't forget to tighten your damper bolts at the bottom so your fluid doesn't just pour out. Toss this back on, zero it out, and we'll do another 12 ounces, 12.1 ounces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12.2. So we're wrong, but we're 0.1 over, but we're 0.1 over on both. So if you're gonna fuck it up even. Well, that's kind of cool. So if you look on top, this stuff is just slowly seeping into wherever it needs to get to. So we'll give that a minute. So we're going to reinstall the spring, and then we're going to change the gasket out on our lids right here. We could do this while we wait for the fluid to seep down. Okay, that went quick. So let's drop a spring in this far side. All right, so this is the fun part. Since we're using longer tubes, we're going to put in spacers. And then put our cap on top of those. So this should be fun. Make sure we're strapped down pretty good. Yep. Now I'm going to stand on my table, and I don't recommend you standing on your table. If you look, my table's fastened to the concrete. It's not coming out. And if it does, then this video will probably go viral, and hopefully that'll pay for my medical bills. And I'm going to put this cap in just to prevent oil from coming out. There we go. It'll extend that front fork down. Torque those to spec. Keep your hand over this thing. Always keep some sort of pressure on it till you're sure that it's started. And you notice I didn't wrap the shit out of those. Oh. All right, guys, so there's the front forks on. So that's done. I'm gonna be taking these in and out, mocking stuff up. There's still a lot of crap to do to this bike before we even think about calling it even ready for paint. I'm gonna order the rest of the stuff for the front end probably right now, actually. So yeah, hope this helps somebody.